Man does not want to face death because he may have his wife or his children and also his own body to look after. He may also have loans that he may want to repay during his lifetime. Some of these loans are about 7 to 8 times of what he earns. Hence, just the notion of his death is not really welcome to man. It all springs out from ignorance, and man forgets that he is Tatvamasi. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll talk about Tatvamasi, or you are that, as how the Hindu scriptures put it, and how the masters of core Vedanta put the spiritual knowledge or the knowledge of the Atman at its epitome. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Man, in order to get away from negative thoughts of death, at least can carry out a life of devotion. But due to his attachment to his family and his home, such thoughts always lurk in his mind. And also due to his past karmas, the body gets repeatedly attacked by various ailments, disorders or afflictions that the jiva is totally fearful of, and he is fearful about the future. He forgets that the colossal form of God looks after him or her. The vehicle that God has provided us to get away from our miseries of life itself is the name of God. Such a vehicle of peace is not available in any other worldly stream. The foundation of consciousness are the finest at the human level. Even though animals are also beings like humans, their consciousness is not developed to a state in which it's developed in a human. And the God's presence in the man's life is a major twist in the story of human life compared to other lower forms of life. Due to full development of consciousness at this level, he knows that he is a man, but an animal is unable to identify itself as a dog or a cat, both being jivatmas. Hence, the existence of the animal is not complete due to its incomplete development of consciousness. Due to the complete evolution of consciousness at the level of the human, man can begin the ascent towards enlightenment and then proceed towards moksha. Due to evolution, man is at least able to find out a way to his or her own soul. He can contemplate such a concept. His journey to such a path always strays due to him not contemplating about his own inward journey, and he rushes to find God outside, and he forgets that the real God is present right there within him and is the answer to all his questions and predicaments of life. Man is mostly God, leaving out the ignorance and desires that constantly the man is seeking, which take him away from his or her own Atma or soul. Such a desireless, non-ignorant, peaceful man is a gross form of God. The falsity that plays out of man is his ignorance, and the falsity that plays out in nature is Maya. Maya envelops every human in its way. Due to this, the man feels that whatever happens around him is the truth, and his body, life and family are all true. After that only he comes to know that it was all a false notion. It is not false as long as the jiva believes it to be true from his or her standpoint. The point here is that it's very transitory in nature. Although it feels as if it's true, it's totally false due to it being ever-changing, perishing, impermanent and mortal. The bottom line is that the person that is thinking of all this being true doesn't even exist after a point in time of his or her life. The inner entity that runs the body of the jiva is God. The basic form of the jiva is the form of God, but he has forgotten about it. The jiva then has to take care that his or her karmas don't falter, which could take him in a direction that he turns against God, and in much worse cases, his karmas take him far away from God. Such a person doesn't enjoy any peace in his life. The births of such people begin with incompleteness, continue into incompleteness and end in incompleteness. Such a person is always fearful, and when death comes to such a a person, it agonizes him. Such persons just disregard God, and they, let alone having a routine of any kind, meditation and chanting are a far reach for such people. Such people's makeup is Rajasic or Tamasic in nature. They are unable to keep attention on objects for more than a few minutes. Such people are unable to study due to such a lacking of focus. If you watch till the end, you would get to know how the Trinity, the devotee, devotion and God become one. So stay tuned and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Any form of remembrance, either through a chant or thought of God or of Guru, helps the person to get back to some kind of normalcy. Between the three, either would be helpful. If the Guru is remembered, it can in turn invoke God, as the Guru is God's nominee, deputy or representative. In a way, all roads end up at God or Paramatma's quarters. Man needs to justify his action in such a way that he can differentiate his life from an animal's life. This is the basic need for starters. As he just hasn't come to eat, drink, be merry and sleep, atheistic or agnostic people are unaware that man is a disguised or covert form of God only. To make it overt, he has to be able to cross his koshas, and once he crosses them, the brilliance of the Atma breaks the gross form and the light seems to glow beyond his gross form. This happens due to the solid chant routine that the individual gets into. It just goes on continuously after a point in time. The individual finds that he now subconsciously starts repeating chants. The flip side to this is that the person has such layers of desire in his subtle body. It's impossible for the soul's rays to pierce the subtle body. It's as thick as a dense forest, and just as a thick sheet of desires that envelop the Jiva then sees only darkness in his meditation. Say for example, the home is fitted with thick dark windows. Where or how is the sunlight supposed to enter into the home of the mind? These dark windows are the windows that the Jiva himself has installed in his mind due to offenses and bad karmas during his prior lifetimes. Such people are also very apathetic towards others. Such people are not aware of their Atma or soul. In the Hindu religion, as I pointed out many times, people have a shortcut to visit their favorite temples. Hindu scriptures, on the other hand, educate the individual on Aham Brahmasmi, or you are Brahman or the self. So Aham, which means I am that, and Tattvamasi, or thou art that. The ancient Hindu scriptures are far mature compared to religious texts. Due to such concepts of non-duality, no other religion propagates such principles. Tattvam Asi is one of the four principal Mahavakyas or great sayings from the ancient Hindu text, the Upanishads. Tattvam Asi is used within Hindu and Yoga philosophy to refer to the unity of the Atman, the individual self or the soul, with the Brahman, the universal consciousness or the absolute. The direct translation of these terms stems from three Sanskrit roots. Tat means that, Tvam means you, Asi means you were. Tattvam Asi may be chanted in repetitions or recited silently as part of a meditative practice. Representing a central theme of Advaita philosophy, Tattvam Asi unites the macrocosmic ideas of God and universal consciousness with the microcosmic individual expression of the self. This mantra highlights the notion that all beings are intimately connected to the universal energy and cannot be separated from it. To recite Tattvamasi is to recognize that Brahman and Atma are one, and as such, there can be no ego or sense of separation. Tattvamasi is one of the four principal Mahavakyas or short statements from the Upanishads. The essence of each of these Mahavakyas is the same, since all are intended to guide practitioners towards realization that all beings are one with Brahman. Understanding this is believed to be ultimate form of compassion, in which individuals recognize one another as part of the same whole. Although the direct translation varies among traditions, it is generally understood as a reflection of one's connection with a higher self. The translation I am that is attributed to Adi Shankaracharya, the 8th century Indian philosopher who centered his Advaita Vedanta doctrine around the phrase. There has been strong opposition to his views in centuries that followed. The persons that follow such philosophies are not aware that Shankaracharya was a master and was already merged with God consciousness. All that Vedanta teaches is that Jiva is the Brahman or the self. As long as the Jiva is enveloped by ignorance, he or she feels that he or she is a Jiva. Once the veil of ignorance is lifted, the Jiva realizes that he was always Shiva Tattva or an entity of God. This happens only when the Jiva is able to be stable and fixes form to the self. So when the disciple starts his journey in spiritual devotion, then there would be a definite duality. But then you get to enter into non-duality spontaneously. It's like an example of sugar that dissolves into water. In the same way, the disciple dissolves into devotional life and forgets about his separate self. Nothing then affects him or her anymore. He is in the world of happenings, but then he watches it at a distance and he still sees the movie, but he understands it's a movie and he doesn't mix himself up with the scene and is totally aloof of it. In this state, the devotee, devotion and God become one. This is the Trinity. A situation like this is called Chidvilas, which means the chitta or the emotional side of the mind, the pure mind, is then present in the world. The situation equates to a situation where the state of the being is at peace with himself. It's like finding God and being at peace with oneself. Such a brightness is present within the person and the person is unaware of it. The Guru makes the person aware of such a brightness by his or her grace. He makes the disciple aware of Tattvamasi, meaning that the entity you are or you are that, meaning you are not different from God, but God is the doer even though he has no attributes attached to him, and the man is not the doer in the real sense. Man should try and find out his God form by being devotional and being a witness to the world around him. As everything around him is happening spontaneously, like sunrise, the changes in weather patterns, the witnessing is by acknowledging that there is a force that runs nature which is beyond his or her understanding. As an example, the elements on their own are of no use until and unless they have been implemented by God. Om is a form of this. God is the rider over the elements of nature. The entity that is within the gross body is called the Atma or the soul, and the entity that is running nature is called Paramatma or the oversoul. If the person is in love with any object other than God, that person is in total ignorance due to his gross nature, and his mind swirls in the I or the ego, as all that nature is about is transient, as putting faith in another person may be counterproductive, as people change and they are after all mortal. That which is unborn, which is immortal, is eternal, one that is impenetrable, unperturbable, omnipresent and omnipotent is God. This entity is present within us, and when the person is devotional and when the mind goes silent, then the Jiva will manifest the pure energy of God. But still then, the doer would still be God. God also from his own side is aloof. He doesn't expect anything in return from the Jiva. The expectations are all of the Jiva. The Jiva on the other hand can get himself to be aloof like his Atma or his soul, and the chants that the Jiva does is a praise of God, and he should be thirsty for God, and this thirst should be unquenchable. He should be hungry for a devotional life, and this devotional life should be a loving call to our own self or soul, and there shouldn't be any reason for the call, as in the sense if there is a reason associated with it, it becomes selfish. Such devotion is definitely of very inferior quality. Leaving behind such selfishness, and when the disciple lovingly calls his or her own Atma, and this becomes rhythmic like a rhythmic engine, the disciple becomes engrossed and absorbed in his chanting. Life becomes melodious, just like the tweeting of birds in the morning, and man's existence becomes sweet, tender and devoted. How did you like the video on Tattvamasi or You Are That? Please let me know in the comment section below. I will see you in the next video.